Unfortunately, most believers don't know this, but this is something that completely shifted my life and it may shift yours too. Doing, owning, and operating business is not just money and labor. Your business is ministry. The moment I realized this, it completely changed the way I saw God, business, and money. Because for a long time, I carried the guilt around making money. I believe business didn't serve God. And if I was focused on business, I wasn't being spiritual enough. And many believers can relate to this. But that belief was wrong and ungodly and was keeping me small. The truth is, business does serve God. In fact, God is the originator of business. Think about it. When God created mankind, that was an investment. He placed value inside of us and expected increase. Jesus himself said in Matthew 13, verse 19, "Occupy till I come." The word occupy literally means do business. Jesus was not saying sit and wait. He was saying multiply what I have put in your hands. Some of the most powerful people in the Bible were business people. Abraham was extremely wealthy. In Genesis 13, he had livestock, land, servants. That's an enterprise. Isaac invested, sowed, and reaped 100-fold in 1 year, according to Genesis 26. Joseph built one of the most advanced economic systems in history: storage, diversification, and governance. Solomon, the wealthiest man who ever lived, wrote Proverbs, which is essentially a manual for wisdom, stewardship, diligence, trade, and wealth. And the Proverbs 31 woman, she bought land, she traded goods, she managed employees, and she generated profit. And the Bible calls her virtuous. So business was never worldly. Misalignment is worldly, greed is worldly, fear is worldly. But management, stewardship, and dominion is kingdom. Unfortunately, this is where many believers get stuck. We have been taught that worship is music, singing, and church activities. But worship is actually doing what God created you to do. And most of the times, we have been called to do business with what God has given unto us. So worship is purpose. Worship is obedience. Worship is developing what God has placed in you. Worship is multiplying what he has entrusted to you. And for many believers, God called you into business because business gives you influence, voice, reach, and authority in system. Business allows you to dominate sectors and not just survive them. Unfortunately, many believers have taken a vow of poverty. And I totally understand this because I know what this feels like. And I thank God for giving me this powerful revelation and for giving me the knowledge and the wisdom so I understand that poverty is not of God. Because when you have been influenced by the world and by people, religious people who had a limited understanding of God, I can totally understand where this is coming from. Let me say this clearly and lovingly. Poverty is not humility. Poverty is bondage. And a believer cannot effectively serve the kingdom of God if you're in financial captivity. How effective can you be if you're constantly stressed about money? You're limited in what you can give and you can't move when God says move. God never intended for his people to be bound by law. He called us to dominion, stewardship, and increase. Not so we can boast, but so we can build, influence, impact, and serve the kingdom. God has been calling many believers into business for a long time. He has been giving ideas, opening doors, and presenting opportunities. But many believers have been ignoring the call. One of the biggest reasons why, deep down, we believe business is ungodly. When we look at the business world, it feels dirty, it feels corrupt, and it's dominated by people who don't honor God. So subconsciously we start thinking, business is not for people like me. God wouldn't want me in this space. But what if the reason business look the way it does is because godly people refuse to step into it? Jesus said something very powerful and revealing in Luke 16 verse 8. The children of this world are more shrewd than the children of light. In other words, the world understand system, leverage, and strategies, while many believers stay passive, hesitant, and disconnected from influence. Jesus didn't say this to shame us. He said it to wake us up. Business is not dirty. Money is not filthy. Enterprise is not ungodly. They were created by God, and they were always meant to be stewarded by his people. So whoever is stewarded right now, they're illegal. And it's time for the legal sentence of God to take over. When believers leave business, finance, and systems to the world dominates them. But when the children of God rise up with wisdom, alignment, righteousness, and integrity, the space shifts. God is not calling us into business so we can worship money. He's calling us into business so we can restore order, create solution, and establish kingdom influence. That's exactly what the world needs. So if God has called you into business, don't feel guilty. You're not being less spiritual, you're being obedient. Your business is not separate from God. It's one of the ways you serve him. And when business is aligned with God, it becomes ministry, it becomes worship, and it becomes a tool for kingdom impact. That is exactly why I have created the 21 Days Break Poverty and Build Wealth with God Challenge. Because this journey isn't about making money, it's about breaking poverty thinking, healing fear and guilt around money and wealth, understanding God's view of business and provision, and stepping into alignment with what God has called you to do. This challenge will walk you through it step by step. Not pressure, not hype, but truth, structure, and transformation. It's completely free. All you need to do is to click the link in the description box and sign up there. Let's do this together, because it's time for the children of God to rise, build, and steward wealth God's way. I'll see you in my next video, shorts or long form. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this video has blessed you. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, as turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next video I upload. Also, like the video, share the video with someone else. And if this video speaks to you, let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. God bless you. Take care.